As we move into the third quarter of 2021, the energy that we're going to be moving into is the energy that is defining the year. It is a very powerful energy of magic and transformation. That's what we're moving into. But there's a little bit of work that we need to do in order to make that happen. So, what is that work? Well, it's going to start with something really small. It's going to potentially really small. It's going to be something relatively minor that is going to shift how you see something or shift what you believe in or the way that your beliefs are shaped. And that is going to set off and catalyze a chain reaction that is going to lead to a bigger transformation down the line. And for your business, that means it's going to move into a deeper sense of calling, a deeper sense of purpose, and a focus on the transformation and role it has within our society and within the world. And that's going to be a very powerful energetic release that is going to happen. But it's going to leave you feeling very much centered in your power. That's the key for this coming quarter, is finding that center of power, remembering that center of power, re-accessing it so that it is there and it is available to you to help you make your next step decisions and identify where you're going. So the theme of 2021 really was around the splash. That was the way that it wants to be communicated at the end of last year. It's about that moment when you throw a stone into the water and the wall of water comes up, and that moment when it comes up is just frozen. That's the bit that has the impact upon us. After that, there's a load of ripples, and of course they're important, but the thing that stays in our memory is not the ripples, but the splash. And that's the energy that we're really moving into now that we've crossed the solstice and we're moving into the second half of the year. We're accessing this very deep transformational energy that comes with this sort of like feeling of deep blue and silvery gold light. So it's very magical. And it's opening us up to something that we haven't had access to before. So in terms of your business, this is going to manifest as perhaps something quite simple. So it might be a change of opportunities that's on the table, or a new contact that you make, so a new connection that you have. Those things, or just a new idea that you have. It could be lots and lots of different things. Probably seems relatively minor, although that moment when it happens is going to stick in your memory. It's going to move you into a different appreciation of where you're at and what's going on. And when you have that, you are then going to start to work with that. You're going to embody that shift that you've just felt. And it is that which is going to open you up to an even bigger transformation that is going to happen through this coming 3 months. So it's going to give you something that you haven't seen coming. It's going to be quite profound in terms of its ability to transform. Now, we have all been through a lot of transformation already, so it's kind of like, oh, here we go again. But this has a feeling that isn't hurried. It's actually going to be quite steady in its process. So it's like an inevitable momentum towards the change that is going to happen, rather than the series of shocks and jolts and all the rest of it that can happen. And we are going to be moving our businesses into really finding their voice and their presence in the world. Now, that may bring with it a shift in your focus for your business from its financial performance onto its role and contribution in the world. And that's really important. But what it then triggered was a very clear message that money is a secondary issue. We entangle money and business, and they are connected, but they are not codependent. Money is one energy stream, business is another energy stream. And when we create conditions upon their interaction, then we get into a bit of a pickle. And the message that came through was that we need to just assume that if we are attuned to our purpose and we are working on that, then the money will flow. Now, there are lots of things that may get in the way of you being able to assume that that money is going to flow. There'll be lots of expectations that you have around money. You have limits and thresholds in place, all sorts of things that may get in the way of you being able to assume. But the message was very clear. If you are attuned to what you are here to do, your business is in attunement, then the money will flow. So we need to actually move from basing our entire appreciation and assessment of our business's performance from its financial performance into its place and its purpose in the world, because that's where we will uncover what I was talking about before, that centeredness in our power. That's where we are going to do the remembering. It is in really being able to say, this is what I'm here for, and I am going to draw a line in the sand around anything that takes me off that path. So I will not go down that line. So there's coming into that strength of your power, and knowing what you will and won't tolerate is going to be a key lesson of this quarter. So in this quarter, we are going to be coming to terms with this change. And there was a real sense that we have been shackled. We have felt as though we have been shackled. And that this moment, this splash that happens that catalyzes this chain reaction is going to be at the moment when the shackles drop, when we realize they're not there anymore. And it's going to take a bit of work and a bit of patience to come to terms with living and working in your business when you don't have those shackles. But it's obviously, ultimately, it's a very freeing experience, but we are definitely going to experience that realization, that dawning, that something that we hadn't really understood was there is no longer there, and we are the freer for it. So this quarter is really about creating the space to do that exploration of what life looks like without those shackles. But it's going to also bring with it an understanding and appreciation and a deep energetic release. And once that begins, there's no holding back and there's no going back.